चलो once again let's start. News में Olympics related. Finally we can have a summary of everything which has happened.
Yes, sir.
What else?
बस
दुनिया में और कुछ हुआ ही नहीं सबसे. बांग्लादेश. Big time things happening, geopolitical turmoil in Bangladesh. Okay. So Olympics, Bangladesh, what else?
कुछ वक़्फ़ बिल की कुछ
वक्फ related कुछ ना कुछ हो रहा है यहाँ पे. That has been in the
The marriage age in Iraq or somehow increased from 9 increased to 9. They are opposing.
किसी किसी के मन में लड्डू फूट रहे होंगे. I have not personally read it anywhere till now. So I have absolutely no confirmation. So I can neither confirm nor deny the reports of decreasing of age for marriage. And is that only for one gender or for all genders? अभी भी लड़कों को 3 साल और रुकना पड़ेगा. बड़ी डिस्क्रिमिनेशन होती है लोगों में यार. हाँ क्या? Why not? नहीं, hold on. If you feel, So I never said reduce boys from 12 to 9. You can also increase girls from 9 to 12. But my point is, why not gender parity? Right? अबे तेरे को तकलीफ है तो तू मत करना 9 उम्र की शादी में कि लड्डू फूट रहे. मेरे को शादी करने को नहीं मिला तो वो क्यों शादी करें? Okay, what else?
ऐसा कि जो उनका रिटर्न होने वाला था वो फ्लाइट अभी वो जो स्पीच काम नहीं कर रहा है.
हाँ. So they are still stuck up on the International Space Station, and maybe they might be coming out in 2025. ये तो ऐसी हो गया कि वेकेशन के लिए घूमने किधर गए और अटक गए लॉकडाउन के दौरान. But this time, literally, they will be in space for months together. हाँ? सोनू सूद को बुलाओ. Lockdown के दौरान, he was supposedly the person who had a lot of people. He helped a lot of people get back. यार थोड़ा करंट अफेयर्स 4 साल पहले भी याद करने का. Okay, what else? हाँ?
Passenger train that was containing 62 passengers.
Okay, and what was notable about that other than that it was a sad event? हो गया? नहीं, तू हिलना मत. तू जहां पे बैठना चाहती है वहीं पे बैठ. जिसको तकलीफ होगी वो हिलेगा. तू अपनी मर्जी से बैठ. गुंडी से मत डर, सबसे बड़ा गुंडा मैं हूं. चलो तू बैठ जहां बैठना. जिसको तकलीफ हो वो चेंज करे. चलो. So let's. Draupadi Murmu got the highest civilian award of Timor-Leste. Great. Head of states, when they visit other countries, more than anything, they are generally given some sort of an award for just being the head of state and saying, "K, please maintain good relations with us. We are already giving you an award." Very nice. Chalo, let's take a look at the compilation of current affairs that I have put. I thought we would start with a dangerous thing. फिर लगा कि नहीं, श्री गणेश अच्छे वाले से करना चाहिए. So, a quick recap of India's performance at the 2024 Paris Olympics so far. हाँ? अच्छा क्या है? तू कितने मेडल जीती आज तक लाइफ में स्पोर्ट्स में? हाँ? So why can't we appreciate somebody winning something? Okay, so our performance has been bad, right? So here's your challenge. Excel at some sport and get a gold for India. Are you willing to take up the challenge? No? Then let's shut up and applaud those who have actually done something. Chalo. Huh? Sadly, yes, we have to term it statistically. वैसा ऊपर लिपापोती करना पड़ता है. Second best campaign, this and that. हाँ? किसका? Hold on. कौन सा? हाँ, उसका लेकिन it all depends on whether they allow that overweight wala issue, because there was another person who had the same overweight issue. Let's see. But keeping a cautious, pessimistic outlook, as of now, we have a total of
Six medals. 5 bronze ones.
Starting with Manu Bhaker, who won the bronze and opened India's account at the 2024 Paris Olympics. She won a bronze for the women's 10-meter air pistol shooting. So it's important to know the name of the person, the exact medal that they won, and more importantly, the exact event for which they got. You can't just write shooting because there are so many different categories. So Manu Bhaker opened India's account at 2024 Olympics with her first bronze in the women's 10-meter air pistol shooting. हाँ? टारगेट के पीछे बोलता कि ये छूटोगे तो तेल मिलेगा तो
मूविंग होते तो अमेरिका जीत
नहीं यार बोलते कि यू आर डूइंग इट फॉर गेटिंग ऑयल एंड डेमोक्रेसी मोर देन एनीथिंग असॉल्ट राइफल शूटिंग रखना चाहिए ओके Second, Manu Bhaker and Sarabjot Singh together won the bronze in the mixed team 10-meter air pistol shooting. So 2 medals in a single event, female, Manu Bhaker. This was quickly followed by Swapnil Kusale again winning a bronze in the men's 50-meter rifle 3-position shooting. So for the same kind of event, there are so many different variants, and yet China has said this time that our chances of getting medals have been reduced because they have actually reduced the number of categories in different events. Like I think diving or something, instead of 14, there are just 10 events, wrestling. So they said our chances of getting medals have been reduced because they have reduced the number of events.
Sir, because most of the medal events are swimming events. Swimming and diving.
Yep.
Most of them.
So many different categories. If you have a good player, then you can win. Like Michael Phelps. Ever heard of Michael Phelps? Swimming.
सारे जीते थे
His medal tally is more than India's total medal tally forever.
So actually, पता है तेरा Olympics wherein Michael Phelps को सबसे ज़्यादा medals मिले थे NASA and Swindle had designed this swimsuit.
I think it was called a shark suit or something.
Then ban कर दिया अगली ban
Anything which works. But the best thing which most of people watched on social media and was the Turkish gentleman who won the silver. चलते फिरते आया बंदूक निकाली ठोका निकल गया. It was literally like hold my beer.
थोड़ा सा ज्यादा फेमस हुआ है भाई सर गोल
Absolutely no idea what goal.
गोल जीत सकता था तो उसके साथ ही ना से बहुत गंदा शॉट मारा था उसका बहुत अच्छा शॉट था
He actually was not his problem. Actually, it was a mixed team event or something because of his overall points went down. Correct. But banda hota hai aisa wo. Anyway, Team India finally last time also we had, but again we had a bronze in hockey men's event. India once upon a time was the world champion with so many consecutive golds.
8 goals.
Unfortunately, then we had a huge lull, and slowly now they are saying because of a good coach and an overall good team, we are coming back in hockey. And one of the best matches where one person was not actually on field because of a red card or something, and yet India managed.
Yes, great video.
So Team India bronze in the men's event for hockey. Then literally the silver lining to our thing. Neeraj Chopra silver in the men's javelin throw. And a lot of people
सर उसके साथ ओलंपिक रिकॉर्ड भी टूट गया वो भी
have the Khujli ke the gold went to Nadeem from Pakistan. But sports are sports. Arshad Nadeem.
9.97
And a very impressive throw considering that Neeraj Chopra is better by technique. Whereas Arshad won it purely on basis of strength. He was just that strong that he was able to chuck it. His technique-wise, Neeraj Chopra is undoubtedly the champion. But Nadeem still won simply because he was strong enough to throw it that far. So imagine if he had the technique, then stands me फेंक देता बंदा.
So he broke the Olympic record twice.
290 plus throws. Imagine. And then Aman Sehrawat, bronze. The only bronze this year for wrestling. So men's freestyle wrestling 57 kilo category.
Youngest Indian Olympic.
21 or 24 something, 21. And a lot of things which we learned कि प्लीज इवेंट के पहले एक्स्ट्रा लड्डू खा के मत जाना. माँ अगर मुंह मीठा करने के लिए कुछ दे तो प्लीज डोंट.
Sir, Aman Sehrawat reduced 4.2 kgs in 10 years.
Absolutely. I will not comment on anything, but jokes, not jokes, but literally a joke. अभी से कोई बोले कि मुंह मीठा करने के लिए थोड़ा खा लो, या कोई अगर बोले बेटा एक और खा ले, एक और पूरी खा ले, ठीक है, नहीं, 100 ग्राम से फर्क पड़ता है. All the dad conscious people have a good excuse to not eat.
At the end, she also defeated an gold medalist.
She did, but in the end, her name doesn't feature anywhere on the medals tally. An almost undefeated world champion was defeated by her. 100 gram.
Sir, javelin for next category in gold. I think Aman Sehrawat wali category.
हाँ.
That dude, he lost last time का जो Olympics था 50 grams, the same case हुआ था उसका.
And was he given any medal?
No.
Then why should Fogart get any special consideration?
But उसमें वो उसको पहले ही disqualify कर दिया, थोड़ा case लगा. वो semi-final
Anyway, the rules are rules. Chalo. Now, on to geopolitics. Bangladesh, Padosi Mulk. Last Sunday, almost 100 people got killed in protest. हाँ? US को तो थोड़ा भी उल्टा सीधा लगता है तो बोलते हैं नहीं 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 हमसे दूर हमसे दूर हमसे दूर.
he also cancelled.
So Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's resignation was called for, and she literally was given only 45 minutes to pack up and flee the country. What? So it was basically Students Against Discrimination, a group which was protesting against job quotas.
I mean, third generation of freedom fighters वगैरह जिससे reservation दे रहे हैं. No comments.
But apparently that reservation is also there in a lot of places in India.
That's why I said no comments.
No comments. But that is literally just like one of the sparks. Like, do you know the exact specific event which led to the First World War? Of course, there was a lot of tension between countries, but the exact event which started the First World War. So again, static GK. The Archduke Ferdinand of Sarajevo was shot when he was riding in a carriage, and that assassination led to the sparking of the entire First World War. So again, Archduke Ferdinand of Sarajevo, Sarajevo, Sarajevo. Konajevo, Sarajevo.
Sarajevo prices were named now.
Sarajevo. The J is silent. Not silent but pronounced the Spanish style. So the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand was the one which sparked the entire First World War. Okay. Now, what basically happened was the Supreme Court scrapped most of the quotas on 21st of July, and the protests had temporarily stopped. It was going on for a long period of time. Supreme Court scrapped it, their Supreme Court. But then last week, again, a lot of protests restarted because the protesters wanted a public apology from Sheikh Hasina. They wanted internet to be restored. They wanted college and universities to be restarted. And mainly they wanted the release of those who were arrested. But things came to a head and Sheikh Hasina fled the country on August 5th. By helicopter, she landed in India, but that's only temporary. And apparently, a lot of shopping has been done.
Yeah, New York back.
Okay. Now, more important, after Sheikh Hasina fled, who was appointed as the interim head for managing the country? Interim chief. Muhammad Yunus, 80 plus years old. And Muhammad Yunus is not just some person. He has been awarded the Nobel Prize for his global microcredit movement. In fact, if you have heard of something called the Grameen Finance Bank, and if you know what is microcredit, his work on microfinancing was recognized internationally, and he was awarded the Nobel Prize for that. And this is the person who was appointed as the temporary head after Sheikh Hasina fled. So, do you know what is microfinancing? What is microfinancing? Any idea? Financing at literally a very small level. If you want 100 rupees as a loan, if you want 50 rupees as a loan, right? So giving somebody just 50 or 100 or 1000 rupees as a loan for a very short period of time. The concept is something like this. Supposing there is a very poor person and he wants to earn money for the day by selling, let us say, fruits, right? He does not have any money. Where will he get the fruits from? So what can be done is he just gets, let us say, 200 rupees as credit or as a loan. Using that 200 as his capital, he purchases whatever fruits he can. He sells it for a profit. He repays the loan, and whatever little amount he gets extra can be his earning. Now, earlier, if you go to banks, you cannot literally ask for a loan of 500 or 1000 rupees. And even if you want, they will ask for collateral and this and that. So, Yunus was one of the persons who pioneered the concept of giving extremely small amounts as loan to people and that started the entire microfinancing system, which has been recognized world over. So this was the gentleman, a Nobel laureate, who has been tasked with leading the country. Written? आगे बढ़े? Okay. Now, the historical thing, if we just take a quick look at timeline, in 1905, there was no Pakistan, there was no Bangladesh, everything was India. So Bengal, the province of Bengal, was split into East Bengal and West Bengal under Lord Curzon. Then, of course, in 1947, partition of India took place, and West Pakistan, or what is today Pakistan, and East Pakistan were formed, where East Pakistan was under the dominion of main Pakistan. But then, of course, the majority of people in East Pakistan were technically Bengalis, right? And West Pakistan or mainland Pakistan had a lot of issues, and more than that, the East Pakistanis were not comfortable with the kind of policies and rules that were happening, and very dictatorial sort of policies were there. So in 1971, with the help of India, the Indian Army, war was fought, and finally they declared themselves independent from Pakistan, and Bangladesh, as we currently know it, was formed. But Bangladesh has never been a place with a lot of peace and prosperity, although it is one of the largest economies in Southeast Asia, after, of course, India, and also one of the largest populations in this part of the world, right? Just like Pakistan, the army of Bangladesh has always played a huge role in the politics of the country, which is not something seen in India. In India, the army is important, but army is totally apolitical. It does not have anything to do with politics per se. Whereas, unfortunately, both in Pakistan and Bangladesh, the army plays a major role in politics. So in 1975, earlier 1971 में Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, Sheikh Hasina's father, was one of the chief heads of the independence movement, and then he became the head of state. But in 1975, Rahman and a lot of family members were assassinated, and the military established itself as the head. It was a military coup. Whenever the military takes over, it's called a military coup. So for a very long period of time, post 75, it was the military which ruled the country. And between 75 to 2011, Bangladesh has experienced almost 29 military coups and counter coups. 75 to 2011, so that would be a period of about 36 years. And in 36 years, 29 times military has taken over, military was removed, this and that. In fact, from 77 to 81, it was not even indirect, it was direct military rule between 77, 81 and 81, 90. But after 2011, Sheikh Hasina and her party have had control over the country for a long period of time. And depending on which source you are reading, some would say she was responsible for the prosperity of Bangladesh, bringing up their GDP. Some would say it was a very dictatorial rule. So I would advise you to read different sources and form your own opinion on that. But obviously, people have felt there that Sheikh Hasina is very dictatorial, and a lot of policies that she's implementing is favoring only her party and not the country. So student protest has happened? Okay. Simple questions. Bangladesh has been an independently ruled country since which year? 71. Just said that. Okay. Who was the first prime minister of the new parliamentary government of Bangladesh? In the protests, his statue was desecrated, right? People, patharbaji ki, they try to break it down. This was Hasina's father, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Simple static GK, capital of Bangladesh. तो दुनिया में 5 या 6 क्वेश्चंस होते हैं क्या किसी टॉपिक पे? क्यों? Who is the longest serving prime minister in the history of Bangladesh? The one who has recently been forced to flee, Sheikh Hasina Wazir. And what is the political party to which Sheikh Hasina belongs? It's the Awami League or the Bangladesh Awami League. Okay. Moving on from Bangladesh. SpaceX is planning to launch something called the Polaris Dawn mission, where Jared Isaacman, a billionaire from the fintech industry, will be the first private individual to conduct a spacewalk. Dennis Tito holds the distinction of being the first private individual to go to space, but he remained inside the craft. If this mission is successful, then Jared Isaacman will be the first private individual who will actually go out of the craft and walk in space. Till now, all people who go to space are usually government employees, most of them usually affiliated to the military of that nation.
सर ये वीडियो हो गया था ना सुनीता विलियम्स और
कौन सा? A lot of things are happening because of the ISS stranding, Sunita Williams and 2 people. So whether there are 2 things. One, will SpaceX be able to bring that? Then there is a Chinese space mission which is being expected. So they are seeing what is technically feasible. It's not that, huh?
चाइना की SpaceX का तो अमेरिकन कंपनी ने
See, the ISS or the International Space Station technically is not run by one country. It's a collaboration between nations. And understand one thing, that if China is able to successfully launch a mission and bring back, then the amount of wahwahi and goodwill it will get from all the countries, right? Currently, China is seen as a major threat to the Western countries, but everybody has to accept it is one of the most quickly growing not democracy, but one of the quickly growing economies in the world. And they are being taken as a world power when it comes to nuclear power, when it comes to space exploration. So to gain goodwill, it actually is a good idea to help any country with such things. So it will be looked as a humanitarian mission. And then automatically, if they're successfully brought back, then China the savior. And do you think they will let go of this chance to spread China being the superpower? And it's all called soft politics. India has also said it will launch an Indian space station. Yes. Correct. US will be indebted to China, right? Any country who gets the help because of this will automatically, so आगे जाके अगर China को कोई जरूरत पड़ी, तो China can play that card. कि भाई हमने तुम्हारी मदद की थी, देख लो. So it's always good to do favors to others. Anyway, so Polaris Dawn mission technically will take Jared Isaacman and his crew farther into space than low Earth orbit. There are different levels, heights to which any mission can go. One is called LEO or lower Earth orbit. But this one they are planning to take it away from that. It will not dock with the ISS. But it will go beyond the low Earth orbit. So basically, they will go beyond a certain height. He will go out, walk a little, come back. So walking does not mean that he just jumps out like Iron Man or something. They are tethered. They are connected to the station, but they go out with their spacesuit and everything. And it's not as simple as movies show them to be. The chances of death are very high. So it takes a lot of guts other than money to be able to do stuff like this. Okay. The Polaris Dawn mission is a private space mission. It will be the first commercial crewed flight to the edge of space. It will reach almost 130 kilometers in altitude. 130 kilometers does not seem like a big distance when it is horizontal on Earth. But space 130 kilometers is big. Okay. The spacecraft for this mission is the Crew Dragon spacecraft. And apart from having a private person walking, the mission is for communication, in-space refueling technology, human behavior in microgravity, and so on. Every mission they don't do just one thing; they do a variety of things. So here, other than attempting a spacewalk, they are also going to do a lot of research work, including human behavior. So people studying or planning to study psychology can also imagine becoming an astronaut. It's not just scientists of physics and biology and chemistry and maths who get to be space scientists. Even psychologists can train and become space scientists. Right. And this is part of SpaceX's space tourism initiative. Elon Musk चाचा सबको अलग अलग जगहों में टूरिज्म के लिए भेजना चाहते हैं.
Elon Musk पे कोई केस हुआ है मैंने आज पेपर
वो तो होता रहता है.
एक केस हुआ है.
कोई बड़ा उसका कुछ मनी का केस हुआ है.
केस करते रहते हैं. The main news will be when some outcome comes of the case. By the way, do you know the name of his son? Just Google. अगर सिर्फ लेटर्स एंड नंबर्स होते तो भी मैं मान लेता सम वियर्ड कैरेक्टर्स है उसके नाम के अंदर. नो आइडिया हाउ टू प्रोनाउंस इट. जस्ट गूगल फॉर नेम ऑफ इलॉन मस्क लेटेस्ट सन. बहुत सारे उसके. ओके. क्वेश्चंस. India's first experimental satellite launch vehicle. The first satellite launch vehicle. Satellite launch vehicle is the SLV-3. Huh? 1 and 2 would not have. That like the first Apollo which succeeded landing on the moon was Apollo 11. Okay. India's first experimental satellite launch. It's not a satellite. Aryabhatta was the first satellite. I'm talking about a satellite launch vehicle, the vehicle which puts the satellite into space. So all the other satellites before were not through Indian vehicles. We used to collaborate with others, and others used to put our satellite in space. But right now we are successful, and in fact, one of the payloads had carried almost 100 plus satellites in one payload. And before you think of what would have been the size, many of these satellites weigh hardly a few grams. Piddu size ke hote satellites. You'd be surprised to see how small satellites can be. Anyway, the headquarters of the Indian Space Research Organization is at Bangalore. Okay. So the fact which is not true is C. ISRO was set up in the year 1969. Baki, the first satellite was Aryabhatta. Father of Indian space research is Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, and ISRO does report to the Department of Space. But ISRO was set up in the year 1969. All right. So 4 facts in one. Who was India's first man or woman in space? Was Rakesh Sharma. Okay. Which is the only planet that spins backwards? At the risk of sounding misogynistic and being at the risk of being abused by feminists. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus, और औरतें उल्टी खोती होती हैं. So with all due disclaimers, Venus is the planet which spins backwards. It's a general saying, and but you know why they say men are from Mars and women are from Venus? Because Mars is the Roman god of war, and and Venus is the goddess of beauty. Venus is also a plant which is one of the carnivorous plants. Yeah, garam khopdiyan. Okay, Jupiter is obviously the largest. Saturn is the one with rings, and by the way, the rings are slowly disappearing. And Mercury is the closest to the sun. Also the smallest, I guess. Okay. Coming to technology, OpenAI is now releasing something called Search GPT, and it is trying to challenge Google as the best search engine. Right now, Google is undoubtedly the world leader in search engine technology.
Sir, do you think it will be possible?
Huh?
I don't think so. It will be possible to cross Google, like, क्योंकि बहुत सारे आ चुके हैं Google पे और आज तक कोई compete कर नहीं पा रहा.
Once upon a time, Yahoo was considered and Ask Jeeves were two of the world's top search engines. Have you heard of Ask Jeeves right now? Once upon a time, Hotmail was considered to be the biggest email vendor and nobody thought they could be challenged. अभी Hotmail के accounts भी नहीं है लोगों के. सबके by default Gmail वाले 2-3 account तो होंगे.
सर आप email को कितनी आगे पहुंचते हैं?
In fact, search engine क्या होता है लोगों को नहीं पता. People Google stuff. You don't search for things online, right? Once upon a time, Internet Explorer was the only browser and then the most default browser. Now, Chrome is and Firefox are the largest, and the only thing people use Internet Explorer is to download and install Chrome and Firefox. Once you have installed Chrome and Firefox, you delete Internet Explorer. So you never say never. You never know what is going to happen. Once upon a time, the largest social media platform for chatting and stuff was a thing called Orkut. Most people haven't even heard about Orkut.
MySpace.
MySpace was one of the first ones. Now Facebook के अलावा किसी को पता ही नहीं क्या है. So never say never. Okay. What OpenAI through Search GPT is trying to do is improve user experience by giving information and results from the internet in real time. Why this is relevant is that ChatGPT is not a real-time search tool. ChatGPT depends on a database which is old. It does not search from the net in real time. So,
2021 तक का.
correct. So, what I did just to test this is I asked ChatGPT to write me an essay based on the Paris Olympics, and it gave me a must essay with all details from the previous one. It did not include any information. Naam, I mean, dates 2024 type dale, lekin all the things that he talked about was from the previous edition. So ChatGPT does not give you current information. So in case anybody was thinking on doing current affairs essay writing through ChatGPT, forget it. It doesn't help. But OpenAI is now trying to come up with Search GPT, which will actually give you real-time information. And that's why integration of artificial intelligence with things like this. Now, but even before OpenAI will come up with this, Google and Bing are already doing it. AI integration is being done. In fact, a lot of you might have seen this AI integration in WhatsApp, wherein WhatsApp has Meta integrated, where you can actually type in something and it will give you the response to that. So Google is doing overviews, which is the name for its AI summary tool. Google and Bing is mainly Microsoft's product. All of them are trying to compete in the AI space. Elon Musk has a lot of problems with OpenAI.
अब iPhone में integration होने वाला था उसका तो ही रिमूव
से मस्त हो जाता.
हाँ?
मस्त हो जाता.
क्या?
iPhone और OpenAI.
Never say never. You never know.
सर ये Elon Musk का point भी valid था उसके related. ही मतलब कि data breach हो सकता है क्योंकि direct.
तेरा डेटा कौन सा बड़ा सेफ आज है? डेटा ब्रीच हो सकता है कि चार्ज. डेटा रखने का ही नहीं. ब्रीच तब होगा ना जब डेटा होएगा. डेटा ही नहीं रखने का. Okay. Who's the father of artificial intelligence? So today, artificial intelligence sort of rules the world of technology. It's only apt we know. It's John McCarthy. Because artificial intelligence type news is becoming so common. I think one of the obvious questions is to know who started it. Okay. Similarly, in which university was the first demonstration of an AI program run? Good guess, but no. Good guess, but no. It's so sad that one of the world's topmost technical institutes is something which you guys haven't heard. But Carnegie Mellon is what leads technology. Oxford, Cambridge, Stanford are great for their law, management, and humanities related programs. But for people who are interested in technology, you're talking about MIT or Carnegie Mellon. To some extent, Stanford, yes. But Carnegie Mellon is the institute where you want to go. Like India में अगर टेक्नोलॉजी में करना है तो IIT, तो वर्ल्ड लेवल पे कार्नेगी मेलन is on the top of the list. Okay. Technical question. You use it, but do you know it? What type of AI model is ChatGPT? So yes, it is a generative pre-trained transformer. Good way of knowing it. What does GPT stand for? Generative pre-trained transformer. Okay. Over time, how does ChatGPT improve itself? It does not learn from user interaction. It simply receives updates from OpenAI. The ChatGPT model depends on updates from the parent company for improvement. It doesn't learn through user interaction. It has nothing to do with hardware. And it does improve, so you can't say the performance is constant.
सर बट ऐसा नहीं होता सर आपको एक नेक्स्ट रिस्पॉन्स मिलता है तो आपके प्रीवियस स्टेप पे
It modifies the answers, but improvement of the algorithm itself does not happen through user interaction. For any improvement in the base model, it has to depend on an update from OpenAI.
तो सर अपडेट आ रहा है तो आपको वो लास्ट पहले वाले ओलंपिक्स को क्यों दिया?
Data set update is the technology,
अच्छा
but the information that the technology, it's like गाड़ी को अपग्रेड कर लिया लेकिन अंदर पेट्रोल जो भर रहा हूं वो भी तो मैटर करता है. Okay. And what is the difference between ChatGPT Plus, which is paid, and the free version? ChatGPT free. How can a free version include something which is not there in Plus paid version? C is the only answer which I would guaranteed remove. C तो guaranteed नहीं है.
it is not game.
It is definitely not C and D because a free version can never have something more than a paid version. So CD तो निकाल दो. And ChatGPT messaging, nobody heard about that. Basically, the paid version is just faster.
सर लेकिन ऐसा नहीं है कि you get the latest version मतलब उसका knowledge बहुत updated होता है जो paid होता है उसमें I think ऐसा कुछ है ChatGPT 4.0
बहुत सारे बीटा वर्जन्स में यही करते हैं. इनफैक्ट फॉर एनी सॉफ्टवेयर not restricted to ChatGPT, the one thing which they claim other than knowledge resource and database is speed. Like I don't know how many different type of AI things you use, but I use a lot of AI software for image generation. And there मेरे को बार बार बोलेगा for faster image generation please purchase. मैं बोलूंगा मेरे पास बहुत टाइम है मेरे को फ्री में दे तू. Okay. Indian Air Force. We are going to conduct the largest ever multilateral military exercise in August and September. So we are calling it the Tarang Shakti. In the first phase, Germany, France, Spain, and UK are expected to participate. In the second phase, we expect Australia, Bangladesh, Greece, Singapore, United Arab Emirates, and US to participate. And we have invited 51 countries, out of which nearly 30 have confirmed participation. The surprise missing names countries which are not going to participate are Russia and Israel. Our two biggest defense partners are not going to participate in this.
तो बांग्लादेश क्यों करेगा उनको अपने साथ में प्रॉब्लम्स
हाँ
बांग्लादेश कभी करेगा उनको अपने साथ अभी प्रॉब्लम्स
अपने साथ बांग्लादेश को क्या प्रॉब्लम है
अपने ने उसको रिलीज करने दिया
क्या
अभी
हमने परमानेंट सी डोंट थिंक ऑफ इश्यूज एज बीइंग यूनिलैटरल just because you have a problem on one front does not mean you cannot be cooperating on the other. That's why you and I, because we tend to think unilaterally कि hey किसी ने को ये कर दिया पूरा बांग्लादेश मेरा दुश्मन पूरा पाकिस्तान मेरा दुश्मन इसीलिए नदीम ने अगर गोल्ड विन किया है तो मैं उसके खिलाफ बोलूंगा. डोंट थिंक यूनिलैटरली. कंट्रीज हैव टू थिंक ऑन डिफरेंट फ्रंट्स. एक जगह पे तुम मारामारी कर रहे होगे एंड एक जगह पे तुम कोऑपरेशन कर रहे होगे एंड दैट्स हाउ इट फंक्शंस. सो अनलेस देयर इज अ डिक्लेयर्ड स्टेट ऑफ वॉर बिटवीन नेशंस यू कैन ऑलवेज हियर कि एक जगह पे कोऑपरेशन चल रहा है एक जगह पे पंगा चल रहा है. इट नेचुरली हैपेंस. Any reason for Russia and Israel? Yeah, Russia, Ukraine, Israel, Hamas, Palestine issue. हाँ कौन सा सो हाँ कहाँ पे लिखा है अगर नहीं लिखा है तो ढूंढ के निकालो
एक तो अगस्त वाला तमिलनाडु का सारा दूसरे राजस्थान
ढूंढ निकालो. So basically what the exercise is all about is anti-submarine warfare, surveillance and reconnaissance and humanitarian assistance. Lot of different things will happen in these exercises. Did I give you the list of exercises last time?
yes.
Okay. Now this exercise would be important because it's going to be the largest ever exercise for the IAF. Okay, combining the Rajasthan, combining the previous topic with the current topic. Which country's military force has unveiled? Which country's military force has unveiled the artificial intelligence robot Valkyrie for aerial combat? Valkyrie comes from Scandinavian or North mythology, where they are the female warriors. But Valkyrie is by the United States of America, US. All these mythological names, US has a lot of things because they don't have technically a lot of mythology which they can call their own. So they have to keep borrowing names from everybody, or they would have names like freedom, democracy, defense, greatness, challenge.
Make America great.
Okay. Now, which institution develops the military combat parachute system of India? Hindustan Aeronautical Limited would be basically designing crafts, vehicles. I'm talking about parachute. It is the Defense Research Development Organization. All equipment and stuff would technically be DRDO. ISRO would be research basically for space, and BHEL is just Bharat Heavy Electrical Limited. Okay. Indian Army and Air Force together are conducting a joint training exercise. What is it known as? Shravan nahi hai, Shravan hai. Shravan is a character from Indian mythology who was a very devoted child, son, and carried his parents on his shoulders. So it's not Shravan, it's Shravan. No, it's the Nabh Shakti. Nabh Shakti. Okay. Nag is one of our defense missiles. Nag is name of one of our missile systems. Okay. Cheetah and Chetak are what? Our missiles are technically Agni, Prithvi, and all those names. our warships are Virat and all that. And Cheetah and Chetak are names of a leopard and a ghoda, तो underwater तो नहीं होंगे. So Cheetah and Chetak are our helicopters. Huh? Huh? हाँ, कम से कम गरुड़ रखो यार. कबूतर क्यों रखना है? Okay. Now, Mahabali is basically made under Make in India initiative from the Ministry of Defense. But what exactly is Mahabali?
Anti-ship missile.
It's not an anti-ship missile.
Border pull होता कैसा है?
Vehicle, a lot of things in the sea, after reaching a certain distance, do not travel on their own, they are pulled. So Mahabali is something which is powerful. You need power to pull things. So basically it's a bollard pull tug. It basically drags ships and stuff. Like even when you're talking about the canals, Suez, Panama, ships sometimes can't travel on their own. So they are either guided or pulled by these things. So Mahabali is basically a pulling tug. Okay. CCPWC, the Cybercrime Prevention Against Women and Children Initiative. As technology progresses, crimes also progress. Huh? क्या? So don't have a false syllogism saying that because an initiative is there, then males are not considered. But दिल पे हाथ रख के कहेंगे, do you think extra care needs to be taken for groups like females and children? I'm not talking about whether women should be given rights and reservation, but I'm talking about ground reality. Are women and children more prone to being targeted and hence require special protection? That's the point I'm making. Whether we like it or not, they are targeted more than men. So there needs to be a very, very specific thing. This is under something called the Nirbhaya Fund. The gang rape incident which took place in Delhi, where the victim was given the name of Nirbhaya. Nirbhaya was not her actual name. It was not supposed to be revealed, so I will not take any names. But the victim was named Nirbhaya by the media, and now the name has been given to a lot of initiatives. So under the Nirbhaya Fund, there is something called the National Cybercrime Reporting Portal, which has been set up, where cyber crimes, especially against women and children, can be reported. So this is part of the CCPWC initiative, cybercrime prevention against women and children.
Sir, what qualifies as cybercrime? What qualifies as cybercrime?
Stalking, uploading of morphed material.
Deepfake.
Doesn't have to be deep. Okay. So there is something called the Safe City Projects. 8 cities currently: Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Chennai, Delhi, Hyderabad, Kolkata, Lucknow, and Mumbai. These 8 cities have particularly been targeted to create the safe city projects, where policing is done using a lot of advanced technology. So all this is a part of that. The Safe City project, Nirbhaya Fund is used to fund that. The portal is the National Cybercrime Reporting Portal. Yes.
सर हमारे स्कूल के बाहर पे खोल है ना उसमें वो हेल्थ का एक बटन लगा है
Yes. That is all part of, because Ahmedabad is one of the Safe City projects. The problem is exactly namunas like this. ये तो सिर्फ wonder कर रहा है. There might be idiots who actually do it for fun, and that's the problem. Misuse of such things. हैज टू बी डन. पता तो चले. तो अगर पता चले कि मस्ती के लिए किया है तो डालो अंदर. 15 साल नो बेल.
मेरे पॉकेट में हेलो हेलो की आवाज आ रही है.
So the exact problem is they have to come up with fail safes for the literal term is they have to make it idiot proof. Okay, done. So now question, the Safe City project is basically under which ministry?
Defense.
It comes under Home Affairs. Defense Ministry is basically for borders. Okay. Now, Safe City project under Home Affairs Ministry. Now, which of the following are correct about the Safe City project? One, it is an initiative of Union Home Ministry, which is obviously true. We just saw in the previous question. Is it aimed at the installation of CCTV cameras in 8 metro cities? Somebody just gave a live idea about that. Yes, there are CCTV cameras being installed.
मतलब एक main CCTV cameras put in means to like.
So one of the central points is how do you make things safe using technology, CCTV cameras. And third, is it a centrally sponsored scheme? Yes, all three. Okay. In which year was the National Cybercrime Reporting Portal launched?
I think 2021. कोविड के बाद ही कंप्लीट आप इंटरनेट.
This is 2019, pre-COVID. And I think the most important question, can anybody guess? ये पूरे कहानी में सबसे important detail क्या है?
मतलब क्या होता है?
We are talking about the National Cybercrime Reporting Portal.
किसने बनाया?
वो तो हिस्ट्री ज्योग्राफी तो ठीक है, बट मोस्ट रेलेवेंट डिटेल. You are talking about an online portal. What is the URL of this portal? If I want to use it, where do I go? So supposing somebody wants to report Bajuwala that he's doing a crime against women and children, what website would you visit? It's simply cybercrime.gov.in. नाम याद रखना. It has to be an easy name. But it has to be something memorable. So this is cybercrime.gov.in. Any government website normally would have the end gov.in. So this is cybercrime.gov.in. Okay. And where is the National Cyber Forensic Laboratory for Evidence in India? Gandhinagar has National Forensic Sciences University, but the laboratory for this is at Hyderabad. The National Cyber Forensic Laboratory for Evidence is at Hyderabad. But there are National Forensic Sciences University, and one of them is at Gandhinagar. And it has a 5-year law program, in case anybody is interested.
Criminology भी है उसके अंदर.
It has. Okay. A lot of ho-halla happened in UP around the Kawad ceremony route, where they made it compulsory to display the name of the owner and all that. But the state specifically introduced changes to something called the Prohibition of Unlawful Conversion of Religion Act. Because what does centrally sponsored schemes mean? Where the money is funded by the union budget. State sponsored means the state gives money for that. Central sponsored means the union government gives money for that. Privately funded means that private institutions would fund it. Then there is something called PPP, public-private partnership. So centrally sponsored basically means that the money comes from the central government. Yes.
But actually, there would be no religion discrimination in the temple and
There would be no religious discrimination in a temple. And the bill even got passed. हाँ, हाँ, बताना. But there is a lot of cases where many a times the courts have upheld that discrimination in religious places, as long as it is a private institution, is not a function of the state. As long as it is not publicly funded or government funded, discrimination cannot be controlled by the state. Okay. So UP government standpoint is that the law in its current form doesn't protect minors, women, people from scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. And because a lot of illegal conversions are happening, the government wants to change this law. What changes is it bringing? One, earlier only the person who was aggrieved, the person who was the victim, could file an FIR. Now it says any person can file an FIR for an incident of this particular nature. Second, the bail conditions have been made more strict and they are increasing the amount of punishment to the persons who are found guilty. So let's see whether the changes are actually effected under law. Done? Okay. Now, what is meant by proselytizing? Vocabulary. Because when you talk about religious conversion, the word technically used is proselytizing. So when somebody tries to convert a person from one religion to their own religion, technically that is known as proselytizing, trying to convert a person from another religion to yours. And not a technical term, but some people are trying to have introduced a new term for reconverting a person from the converted religion to the main religion. There's a vernacular term for it. It has become a very popular term. It's not a technical term, but it's a very popularly used term for reconverting a person back to the same religion. You might have definitely heard of this word. It's called Ghar Wapsi. Okay. In terms of secularism, what is meant by Sarva Dharma Sambhav? It's the principle used in the constitution, the freedom to practice any religion. All religions are equal. So Sarva means all, Dharma religion, Sambhav means equality. Okay. Secularism in India is in which part of the constitution? The word may be there, but it is enshrined in fundamental rights. Freedom of practicing one's own religion, freedom of religious conscience. Huh? The word is there, but the entire concept is explained in the fundamental rights. Okay. And along with fundamental rights, which directive principle of state policy is related to secularism? Surprisingly, it is the Uniform Civil Code. And because it's a directive principle of state policy, it is only a directive, it is not compulsory. That's why they're trying to change it from DPSP to a fundamental thing so that Uniform Civil Code becomes compulsory. But as of now, it's only under directive principles of state policy, which means they are not enforceable by law. By the way, do you know what is Uniform Civil Code? What? Any idea? Uniform Civil Code के related तो इतना हो हल्ला हो रहा है इंडिया में since ages. और हर बार सरकार I mean, any new change, anytime when Jammu Kashmir became the integral part and any changes come, they say agli baar uniform civil code karenge, agli baar uniform civil code. That's one of the biggest agendas supposedly for the current government.
Basically, सारे citizens पे equal laws apply होने चाहिए, something like that.
One specific type of law, yes. Which law? So you're talking about personal laws. Civil laws or personal. Right now, marriage, divorce, inheritance are all specific to the religion. For Hindus, it is Hindu personal law. For Muslims, you have the Muslim law. For Christians, it's separate. For Parsis, it's separate. Marriage related, divorce related, inheritance related. Uniform Civil Code says there will be uniformity in law for every single religion. As of now, India does not have that. Many people are fighting that you should have UCC, and equal number of people are against it. It's a never-ending battle. Okay. The term secular was introduced in the Indian Constitution after what event? Partition of India in 1947. The word secularism was introduced in the 70s. Babri Masjid was 90s. This came in 70s. This happened in 70s. Simple. It was simply through debates. There was a lot of debate, and one of the debates everybody agreed, and then introduced the word. That's it.
तो उसके पहले आपने क्या किया?
The word secular was not part of the thing. The word secular was 42nd and 44th amendment. It was introduced in the thing. So socialist, democratic, blah blah republic. So the word secular was introduced only at a later time. Same religious law for all religions. Yes, that's secularism. Right. Done, Che? Okay. On August 2nd, 24, Turkey's Information and Communication Technology Authority introduced a block on Instagram. No Instagram. आधी जनता तो ऐसी मर जाएगी यहाँ पे. हाय, ऑक्सीजन ले लो, Instagram मत लो. But there was a complete block on Instagram. Basically, people believe it was because they wanted to remove posts related to the death of Ismail Haniyeh, who was the leader of Hamas's political wing. And Haniyeh was killed in an explosion.
ईरान में था. ईरान में मरा.
Yep. And Iranian officials and Hamas were blaming Israel for it. So Turkey basically blocked Instagram. They did not want the news to spread. Issue is because Turkey does not consider Hamas to be a terrorist organization, which a lot of Western countries do. I hope everybody knows what Hamas is.
Yes.
Israel-Palestine conflict में one of the parties. Now, whether to call it a political organization or a terrorist organization depends on your point of view. All right. So Turkey आ गया है तो information को भूल जाओ, Turkey पे focus करो. Which place in Turkey is considered to be the resting place of Noah's Ark? You know what is Noah's Ark? Christian mythology में God was angry at the way man had become wicked. And Noah was the only person who was supposedly following the word of God. So he said, I'll give you some days. You create a big ship. You take your family and you take one male and one female of every species. And then I will destroy the earth. So Noah built this huge ship called Noah's Ark and his family, and he took one male, female of every species. And when everybody had boarded the ship, God sent a rain on earth. It rained non-stop for 40 days and 40 nights, and everything else was destroyed. And only Noah and all the one of each was spared. And after 40 days, then blah blah blah, they land. All the waters went back, and then he basically rebooted the entire earth. There is a place in Turkey where this ark supposedly landed and is now currently resting. This is Mount Ararat. Mount Sinai in Christianity is the place where the 10 commandments were received by Moses. Jerusalem is not a mountain, it's a city. Okay. So Noah's Ark is supposedly on top of Mount Ararat. So if you see a lot of movies, including Indiana Jones, this is one of the places where a lot of religious artifacts are supposedly hidden. Done? Okay. Now, in Homer's epics, there is a place which is famous for a siege. It is currently located in Turkey. Which place? Sparta is a famous place, but what siege? You understand what is a siege? A siege is basically a war situation where a city is completely surrounded for a very long period of time. The Trojan War. So the city of Troy is currently actually in Turkey. Troy was a Greek city. Simple static question. What is the currency of Turkey? That's called a red herring. It's actually the lira. The Turkish currency is the lira. Okay. What is the official religion of Turkey? You would think so, but officially it's a secular country. On paper, it's a secular country. And what is the capital of Turkey? No. Istanbul is the most famous city, just like Ahmedabad is the most famous city of Gujarat, but not the capital. The capital of Turkey is Ankara. And by the way, Constantinople was the old name for Istanbul. So Constantinople and Istanbul are the same place. Turks invaded Constantinople, in fact, in the year 1453. And Turkey was called the gateway to Asia and the gateway to Europe. Because Asians could go to Europe and Europeans could come to Asia through Turkey. It's exactly on the border. So Istanbul, Constantinople are very famous, but the capital city is Ankara. Okay. The axiom for mission to the International Space Station, and I think I mentioned this before, there are 2 astronauts from India who have been chosen for this mission. So that's Group Captain Subhanshu Shukla and Group Captain Prashant Balakrishnan Nair. This is the 4th private astronaut mission aiming to go to ISS. It's a partnership between ISRO and NASA. And Axiom Space Incorporated is the organization with which there has been the deal for this to happen. So the Axiom 4 space mission is basically India's human space program for strengthening cooperation between ISRO and NASA. I trust you know the full form of ISRO and NASA. And the equivalent organization of other countries. For example, the same in Japan is JAXA. Then for Europe, it's the ESA. Even Pakistan has a space program, agency. Find out. And after you find out, try to search for the images, and you before anything, you'll get a lot of memes on that. Not now. Okay. ISRO has decided to achieve debris-free space by which year? You understand what is debris? कचरा. मैं तो बोलता हूँ पहले अपने सड़कों को साफ करते हैं. But space debris are actually a huge problem because people are launching left, right, and center, and सारा कचरा वहीं पे छोड़ देते हैं. So they are aiming to do it by 2030. Okay. Chandrayaan 3 became very famous. But now we have Chandrayaan 4, which has been announced by ISRO chief. What is the main objective of Chandrayaan 4? First of all, what was the objective of Chandrayaan 3? To land on the South Pole, the dark side of the moon, right? Now, what is the mission for Chandrayaan 4? It is to basically collect moon rocks and bring back stuff for analysis. हाँ? क्या? गए होंगे तो कुछ सोवेनियर उठा के लाए होंगे, but now actively they are going to collect enough material so that research can be done. Which sounds easy, but it is not.
तो ये चाइना ने किया ना अभी अभी
क्या
वो मून से
Sandy.
आपने लास्ट में बताया
things? So that's why China, US, these are the two main countries which are successfully doing a lot of stuff, and that's why India is actively trying to get into it. और कुछ नहीं तो technology अपनी तो बढ़े. For example, people say, why do you want to go to space? गरीबी कम है, पहले यहाँ पे पैसे डालो and all that. But honestly speaking, when people were testing the nuclear, when they were working on the nuclear bomb, you know what was one of the outcomes of all the things which were going? One of the inventions which resulted directly as a result of the nuclear bomb program, the microwave oven. The microwave oven which you use today was because one of the scientists who was passing by one of those reactors with a chocolate bar in his pocket, and he discovered that the entire thing has just melted. And then the research led to understanding microwaves, and then the microwave oven was developed as a result of that program. So some of the most weird programs can lead to technology which we can't even imagine having daily applications. Like one person was trying to come up with a very strong glue, चिपकाने के लिए, industrial glue, and he was constantly failing in trying to create a glue which would actually stick. But then the failure got converted into a success. The company was 3M, and the person basically invented post-it notes. So the glue doesn't stick properly, and he said, very good, let me create something which doesn't need to stick properly. So that's why the post-it notes can be easily peeled off. It will stick, but you can peel it off. That was a direct result of failure to create a glue which actually sticks permanently. So technology works like that. You don't know what you're trying to do, and it just happens. Okay. Which space company has successfully tested something called the Kalam 250 at the propulsion test bed of ISRO? This is Skyroot Aerospace. So Kalam 250 has been test fired by a company called Skyroot Aerospace.
So even India.
I think so. In fact, before you think that it's only ISRO which does it or big private companies, school and college students have actually test fired many things at these centers. Groups from colleges are actually allowed to test fire their rockets here. Many colleges have done it. Okay. Use and throw ka system hota tha, but now they are actively trying to reuse things. So ISRO successfully conducted a reusable landing vehicle landing experiment. What was the name of this thing? Yep, it was the Pushpak. They're trying to reuse vehicles so that use and throw na karna pade. You can reuse the material. So India's reusable landing vehicle is Pushpak. Okay. The James Webb Space Telescope, one of the most famous things other than the Hubble telescope. The James Webb Space Telescope is used to observe what? It's basically for early universe. It's trying to observe stars which are newly getting formed so that we can understand how the universe actually came into existence, the Big Bang. So the James Webb Space Telescope specifically is trying to look at newly forming planets and stars and stuff so that we get a better scientific understanding of the formation of the universe itself. That's the James Webb Space Telescope. Okay. Done? Right. The Union Cabinet has approved a plan for 8 high-speed road corridor projects for a distance of 936 kilometers across India and planning to invest over 50,000 crore rupees for this. There are two main motives. One, to improve the transport of freight goods, and second, for pilgrims. So a lot of religious places are being connected, and there are 8 corridors which have been principally approved. So they will be, there are multiple models for constructing this. They are called PPP or public-private partnerships. And there are 3 models. One is called the BOT model, which is build, operate and transfer. Second is called the HAM model, which is a hybrid annuity model. And the third is called the EPC, engineering, procurement and construction. So PPP model में BOT would basically, a private company would build it, operate it for some time and then transfer the ownership to the government. HAM would be a hybrid annuity model where annually the money is shared, or EPC where only the engineering portion, getting the materials and the construction is given to the private thing, but the control would be in the hands of the public, basically the government. So these three different models are known as PPP, public-private partnership models. So 100% सरकार नहीं करेगी, 100% किसी प्राइवेट से नहीं करवाएगी, पार्टनरशिप में सब करेंगे. And that's how most of current works are happening. Benefits are obviously better efficiency in terms of logistics, to boost tourism and miscellaneous. In case somebody is interested in knowing which are the 8 corridors and which model is being followed, these are the 8. Agra, Gwalior under BOT, build, operate, transfer. Kharagpur, Morgram under HAM. Tharad, Ahmedabad under BOT. Ayodhya, Ring Road under HAM. Raipur to Ranchi, HAM. Kanpur, Ring Road. EPC, Guwahati, Ring Road under BOT and Nashik, Khed under BOT. Like the Golden Quadrilateral was much touted as one of India's first expressway projects. So which was the first expressway in India, from where to where? As part of the Golden Quadrilateral.
Mumbai to
Chennai, I guess, in
The first expressway or National Expressway 1, part of the Golden Quadrilateral, was the Ahmedabad-Baroda Expressway. Why think other? Jopna Expressway, that was the first one to be constructed. That is National Expressway 1, Ahmedabad-Baroda. Okay. NH is highway. We are talking about expressways. Which is the longest national highway in India? It's NH44. Okay. The national highway system, the entire national highway system comes under what? Comes under whom? Highways cannot be individual state because highways connect states. So it has to be central government. Highways between states have to be under central government. वरना state governments पंगे करेंगे. National Highway Authority of India. Okay. All railway passenger coaches, dabbe, where are they manufactured? Huh? Chittaranjan. Naam suna hua hai. It is connected to railways, but no. The railway passenger coaches are in south, in a place called Perambur. Okay. Railways are considered to be one of the lifeline for transport in India, right? So, what is the thing which is the maximum, what is transported maximum? The highest volume is for which commodity? So, the highest volume of goods is for coal. NHI it comes under the central government. It is a body, but who controls it? Like even DRDO is a body, ISRO is a body, but it reports to whom? That was the question there. So when I say central government, it doesn't mean central government directly controls. There would be an authority under who oversees it, but the reporting is done to the central government. Okay. Maximum volume of goods is coal. Okay. The first port which developed after independence in India was the Kandla port, Gujarat. Right. Done. Chalo. One-liners, not MCQs, because I hate MCQs. So who has been appointed as the new chairperson for the Union Public Services Commission, the UPSC? So you have got 50% chance. Yeah, male nahi hai, so 50% तो already eliminate कर दिया population को. 50% world population, male out. Huh? Now you have got 1 in 26 chances.
Exactly.
And the second name is the name of a country. So you almost got it. If you know this much, the options में से तो मिल ही जाएगा. चलो, given. Mark given to you for that.
Yeah.
So it is Preeti Sudan. Sudan is the name of a country. If you don't know that, it's in Africa. Preeti Sudan. First of all, I said it's a woman, so Jagdish nahi. And India surname, come on, Preeti Sudan. Okay. Dick Schoof is the Prime Minister of which country? The Netherlands. किसका X? Dick Schoof का F? हाँ. Country का X. अच्छा. मैं बोला बड़ा इंफॉर्मेशन रखते हो यार. प्राइम मिनिस्टर लोग बनते नहीं उसके पहले उनके एक्स के बारे में ढूंढना चालू कर दिया तुमने. If you do that for France, I can still understand. Yeah, because he married his teacher or something like that. She was much older than him.
सही है भाई.
Yeah. Okay. Masood Pezeshkian. You got it the first time. Iran. Masood Pezeshkian is the president of Iran. Okay. The Kaziranga National Park, India. Kaziranga National Park, famous for the one-horned rhinoceros, is Assam. Oh भाई देख लो, गलती से एक आध आ गया तो मार्क मिल जाए. Okay. The Biligiri Rangaswamy Temple Tiger Reserve is in the state of Karnataka. The BRT, Biligiri Rangaswamy Temple Tiger. Rangaswamy is South Indian name, so you have to guess some South Indian state. Obviously. Okay. The Sentinel nuclear missile. Indian missile के नाम Agni, Prithvi and all that. Chinese name also will be usually a mythological name or something which is Chinese sounding. This would be a Western country. It's the USA.
सर इंडिया भी कुछ कर रहा है न्यूक्लियर
हम तो बहुत सारे कर रहे हैं, बट नाम हमारा mythological होगा. Even पाकिस्तान का कुछ होगा तो it will be a typical Mughal type name. Gauri, Ghaznavi and all that. Very typical. उनके नाम से पता चल जाएगा. You can guess that this is somewhere from Southeast Asia. Okay. Panchganga River is a tributary of which river? Like Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, they are all tributaries. So Panchganga is from the Krishna. Okay. The Order of Saint Andrew the Apostle is the highest civilian honor
अभी मोदी जी को मिला
of Russia. So any head of state goes somewhere, award civilian order दे देते. Huh? Chevalier, there's something it's known as. Or Legionnaire, something. One is a civilian, one is a defense award. Something में जो pronounce नहीं कर सकते, 99% French. So one is the Chevalier something, one is the Legionnaire something. Two awards are there. Okay. Women's singles, Wimbledon tennis. So the women's singles was won the Wimbledon by Barbara Krejcikova. Barbara woman नहीं था.
Against Italian.
Okay. Davis Strait. It's a geographical location. Like you have the Park Strait between India and Sri Lanka. So Davis Strait is a water body, but it's between which two regions?
UK.
This is between Canada and Greenland. Arctic. Okay. Which Southeast Asian country recently released a stamp
Laos.
which includes a stamp of Lord Ram? Laos. Who has been appointed as chief advisor to Bangladeshi interim government? Muhammad Yunus. Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus. Okay. Which category? Surprisingly, peace. Okay. What is special about the 100-meter race finals in Paris 2024 Olympics? Huh? But a lot of races are split second decisions.
And picture technology से they got the winner.
यूएस जीतना तो आगे हाँ रिकॉर्ड तो कितने सारे टूटते हैं बट इसमें there was a very specific achievement. It's almost impossible to get 2 goals in racing. This was the first time in the world that all the runners completed in less than 10 seconds. वरना winner 9 point something होता है and फिर पिछवाड़े 10 point something. For the first time, everybody was 9 point something. Everybody under 10 seconds and yet somebody won gold. Micro, nanosecond types difference. So the technology to identify the difference is crazy. Okay. Which famous Indian was given the Companion of the Order of Fiji Award? Who? President Draupadi Murmu. Okay. Which country is the manufacturer of the Kamaz Typhoon K vehicle, which is obtained by Indo-Tibetan Border Police?
India.
नाम इंडियन नहीं है क्योंकि इंडियन माइथोलॉजिकल नाम इंडियन होगा और हमने मैन्युफैक्चर किया तो हम अक्वायर क्यों करेंगे खुद को पैसा देके क्यों लेंगे
China.
How will we get equipment for China? There are 2 countries from where we can get defense material. Either it has to be Russia or Israel. This is Russia. Remember, defense technology acquirement by India, 99% would be either Russia or Israel, या worst case scenario US. China से हम खरीदेंगे. Okay. Who won the men's 100 meters gold at 2024 Olympics? Noah Lyles. Because it's considered one of the flagship events of the Olympics, the 100 meter sprint. Who has been chosen to be India's flag bearer for the closing ceremony? Manu Bhaker.
And
Tijesh as well. Okay. Which country has released commemorative postage stamps for the Paris Olympics? India. We have released commemorative stamps. Okay. How many national high-speed road corridors project has the Cabinet Committee on blah blah approved? I just said that. Who secured the first Olympic gold medal at Paris 2024 Olympics in men's singles tennis? Yep.
completed career gold.
Career gold. वरना अभी तक gold in tennis big names को normally बहुत नहीं होता है. Also a reason because many a times they are professionals and in Olympics one of the rules is that if you're a professional player you cannot compete. You have to be an amateur sports person to compete in the Olympics.
Sir, and वो जो था ना वो Grand Slam मिला.
हाँ.
It's termed as career Grand Slams.
All the 4.
Yeah.
Abhi because everybody has stupidly started using Grand Slam for an individual win, so they have to specify. Varna Grand Slam is winning all 4 in a single calendar year. तुम्हारा generation पागल है. Our generation invented the word, so you are corrupting it. ठीक है? आगे बढ़ो. Which country's proposal inspired G20's agreement of taxing the ultra rich? बहुत पैसे हैं लूटो. हाँ? US propose भी करेगा. Maximum billionaires are in US. You think US is going to propose something like this? हाँ? अंबानी allow करेगा? No, this is Brazil. If you are ultra rich, pay a lot of taxes. Brazil proposed it. Okay. Parvat Prahar, a strategic military exercise of India, the Indian Army, is in which region? Ladakh. Okay. What is Waqf?
सर वो सर वो मुस्लिम इनहेरिटेंस का है ना
कुछ लैंड
Charity में जो land है कुछ
Yes.
उसको देते हैं.
So,
but bill
what is different? The word Waqf itself literally just is property dedicated to God for religious and charitable purposes, specifically in Islam.
bill pass कर
Waqf board पे bill कर रहे हैं. But Waqf itself is just the property which is given in charity. Okay. And the Adichung Nagari Peacock Sanctuary is in Karnataka. Chalo. We will stop and take a break. Catch up again at 1:30. Till then, tata, bye bye, see you.